Hi, I'm John Hazzard, and for me, it's all about food. Well, today is a Saturday and it's kind of a rainy day. You know, most people who come to the Caribbean think it's going to be sunny all the time, but we do have rainy days as well too. And today, for some reason, is quite rainy all afternoon. And I thought, you know what, it would be nice to have a nice Caribbean soup, one you have like if you go to Jamaica or Trinidad. And I thought, you know, let me come down. I went through my fridge and I said, let's make a Callaloo soup. And I want to show you how I make my Callaloo soup. So let's just kind of go through the ingredients first. We need onions in our soup, along with garlic. I have here Scotch bonnet pepper. We mentioned garlic. Ginger is also very, very important. Celery. I have chives. Of course, we have to have okras. And I didn't have any callaloo in the fridge, but I have some spinach which was kind of going off. So I'm going to use the spinach I have here as well too. And I also am going to use some saltfish, which I boiled in about 3 to 4 changes of water. I'm using saltfish because crabmeat is traditionally used in Callaloo soup, but crabmeat is quite expensive, so I had some saltfish in the fridge. So I went ahead and boiled it ahead of time, and normally we'll boil the saltfish at least 3 to 4 times to soften it, to cook it, and also to get rid of that excess salt as well too. Or you could soak it overnight and then boil it the next day as well. So we're going to use some saltfish. I also have some thyme, and in Trinidad they will use what's called culantro. But I couldn't find any culantro in the supermarket, so I got some cilantro, which I absolutely love cilantro, to add to my soup. And of course for the soup we're going to need some coconut milk. I didn't have any vegetable stock or chicken stock, so I'm going to use good old water, H2O, and of course we'll season with some salt and pepper. Over here, basically, I'm going to make a few little dumplings, I love dumplings, to go into my soup. So I have a bit of all-purpose flour, a bit of whole wheat flour, cinnamon, some nutmeg seed. I like to use whole nutmeg seed as opposed to the powdered stuff. And I also have some granulated sugar, some baking powder, water, and then 2 days ago I made this phenomenal whole wheat sourdough bread. So I'm going to be using that bread as well to make our soup. So the way I make my soup is very, very simple, and it's going to be very easy for you to reproduce at home. So I'm going to grab a pot first. Let's get it from below here. And what I do basically is I layer everything. So we're going to start first with the onions. And again, you cut the onions nice as well. So you're going to chop these onions up first. And the onions can really just be like a medium dice. So you're going to chop these all up. So you know, again, we make some horizontal cuts across the onion first. And then I'm going to make some vertical cuts across. And then we turn it and we go across again. That's one onion. Let's do the next one. And we go right across all again. And then we do some vertical cuts. We turn it and we go right across again with some more cuts. Good. Then what we do, we're going to put this now in our soup pot at the bottom. So we're going to kind of layer this all up. So it's going to be very, very simple for you, but it's a lovely soup. Some people tend to blend, a lot of people in the Caribbean blend this soup, but I like to leave this soup nice and rustic. I'm going to take a bit of ginger. We're going to slice this here. Nice and small. Not sure if I can need all of that. And let's just chop this up as well too. So we're going to chop this here to add to our soup. Ginger is going to add a little bit of heat as well to our soup. So let's just chop this all up. So we're going to add that right in here. So I kind of have the onions all spread out. And I'm also adding the ginger. I think I could probably add a little bit more ginger. So I'm going to add a little bit more ginger to the soup because I love ginger. So we're going to chop this up. So just go right across with that. Nice and fine, and I turn it, and we chop this into small pieces. Okay, so that's our ginger. Let's add our ginger now to our pot. The other thing we want to do now, we're going to take some garlic. So I have some garlic right here. We're just going to slice this up to go into here as well too. Let's chop this garlic up. And I'm just going to slice this way you can always see the garlic in the soup as well. Just get this all chopped. Okay, so let's just put our garlic in here. I think we should have enough garlic here, so I just sprinkle this around at the bottom. And in the Caribbean, I love Scotch bonnet. So I'm going to add a little Scotch bonnet in there. Remember, when you use Scotch bonnet, you don't want to scratch your eyes or anything when you're finished. So we're going to take the seeds out. The seeds create a bit more heat in your soup. So we're taking the seeds out of the Scotch bonnet. Okay, so we got the seeds out, and we're just going to chop this just very, very fine and add it to our soup, or well, our pot really, that we're layering. So we're going to add this in here, and I'm going to add this other piece as well inside here. I might just add half of this, so I'll put this other piece back. I'm going to add this now inside here. So that's our Scotch bonnet added to our soup. Let's add some celery now. So I have some celery. So we take this. I'm just going to take off this end right here. And again, we're going to kind of small dice this as well too. So I'm going to chop this here in half. These pieces. These smaller ones on top. And then I'm going to dice this across. So I like this kind of rustic, you know, where you're seeing all the ingredients in the soup. With the celery, just take the celery and you just pull the knife all the way down. And then you pull the knife all the way through to cut this into strips. And I'm going to do another one. Cut this all the way down, all the way through. We're going to cut this here into strips. Okay, so we're going to dice this now. And go all the way across with this. Okay, so we're cutting this all up. And we're going to add this celery now to our soup. So kind of layering it. So we have the onions in here ready, we have the garlic, we have the ginger, and we have the Scotch bonnet, and I believe I can put another piece of celery in there as well. So we're going to cut this across, and then this will be all of our celery inside of our soup. Just cut this all up. So we're going to add this now to our soup. Good. Then I'm going to add now this tomato. Just take off this bottom here. Get rid of this. This was a piece of tomato I found inside of the fridge. So I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and get rid of it. So we're going to dice this up as well and add this to our soup. So just dice this up. And this is also going to create some more moisture as well as flavor in our soup, which is what we're looking for ultimately. So we're going to dice this all up. Let's just turn this. And we're adding this now to the soup. I'm actually hungry. I haven't eaten all day already. I had a little breakfast, but nothing substantial. So I'm looking forward to having this soup, especially that today now has turned out to be a rainy day. It started out sunny, but now it's turned out rainy. So when it turns out rainy, it's a good idea to just make a nice pot of soup and enjoy evening with a nice pot of soup. So we have all that stuff in there layered. The other thing we're going to add now, let's just go ahead and add a little thyme. So I have some thyme here. I just sprinkle this all around inside there. So that thyme is added. I'm going to add my chives inside here as well. So I have some scallion chives right here so you can see. So you're going to add this. And we're going to sprinkle these as well in the bottom. Again, more flavor. So thyme is an ingredient which you have to have, and this is fresh thyme. And what I did is I just pulled the leaves off the stems. So we sprinkle this all around in the bottom of our pot. Get all this in. And then what I have here is some saltfish, which I said I boiled. So we're going to take the saltfish and we're just going to kind of put this in the bottom as well. Still has a little bit of salt flavor in it, so it's going to give some really great flavor. So that's inside there. And then the other thing we're going to take now is our okras. So okras again, really important. So I went ahead and cut off the tips of them. So we're just going to take the okras now and we're going to cut these in rings all the way across. So we're getting close to completing our soup, which is great. So just cut these across into rings, basically. But you have to have these now. I love okras. I grew up in okras. In Barbados, we would eat cuckoo. On a Saturday, you know, my mom would also cook, along with, some Saturdays mom would cook some soup, a Bajan soup. Or mom would send me to buy pudding and sauce from a neighbor in Oxnard, as I grew up in Husbands. Or sometimes on Saturdays, mom would cook cuckoo. And in cuckoo, okras is the predominant ingredient. And so I grew up on okras, and I love okras. Some people don't like okras, slimy. And I have a recipe for that as well too, where you can grill them, and that takes away the slime. But in this particular dish, you're gonna have a bit of the slime coming from the okras, which I absolutely love. It kind of adds this kind of gooiness and texture to the actual dish. So we're gonna put these now. Let's just put this back in here. And now we're gonna add the okras to our soup. Get all this good stuff right in here. So that's the okras. Let's put this here and take a bit of paper towel just to clear off my bowl and to clean my hands. Okay. Good. Okay, so we have the okras here now. So we're going to add the okras now in here and sprinkle them around the bottom of the pot. Again, we're layering stuff. So we have the onions in already, we have the garlic, we have ginger, we have Scotch bonnet, we have celery, and we have tomato, thyme, we have, and then we chives, and we just added some okra. Now we're going to add some spinach. So I wanted to show you how you do spinach. This is kind of imported spinach, but generally in the Caribbean our spinach is pretty thick. What you do is you take the leaf of the spinach, you fold it in half, and you just take the stalk and you pull it down. And that's called deveining the spinach. So these are some spinach leaves which are already washed. And what you do is you take it and pull it down like that. So you take it, fold it in half, and pull this down. And that's how you devein spinach. So we're gonna pull this down, and you do all of that with the spinach. And I have already gone ahead and I've done that with this set right here. So we're just pulling all of these. So again, fold it in half, take the stalk and pull down. And that's called deveining the spinach. So let's just pull this all down. Good, so we have that. So we just can get rid of this. Take this, and we're gonna add this now into our pot. So now we add the spinach on top here. Oh, this is so wonderful. I'm gonna leave the cilantro for later. Great. Just rinse this out quickly. Good. So rest that there. Now what we do, I normally take my can of coconut milk. I always rinse off the top. You know, it's been sitting in the supermarket or wherever. So I always rinse the top off. Now let's just open this up. And I give it a good shake. If you don't have coconut milk, you can also use the powdered coconut milk as well, mixed with some water, so you can use that as well too. So we're gonna add this. Now, if this is my pot here, right now my spinach, if you can see it, is up to there. That's where my spinach is at right now. So basically I'm gonna put my milk tub up right here, because the spinach and the tomatoes and everything has in a lot of liquid. So I'm not going to cover this or anything with my coconut milk. So that's the coconut milk added. And we're going to add a little water as well. If you don't have, preferably I would prefer to use some kind of chicken stock or vegetable stock, but in this case we're using a little water. And that is it so far. Let's just check. Let's just grab my spoon. I have a spoon here. Yeah, I think that is enough liquid at the moment. What I'll do, I'll probably add just a little bit more water. And I think that's enough. I can always add, remember you can always add, but you can't take out. So now we're gonna just pop this onto our stove right here. We're gonna bring it to a boil and we'll lure it to a simmer. So go ahead and get a cover. Got a cover here. And we put our cover onto our pot. So while that's going, let's just start on our dumplings. So I'm gonna take a bit of all-purpose flour. Add a little bit in here. Now I'm going to make some dumplings which are kind of firm. Don't want to make a whole lot, so that should be enough. A bit of the whole wheat flour. Good, that should be good. I'm going to put a little bit of nutmeg seed in here as well. That's going to give a nice little dynamic of flavor. Good, so that's great. A little bit of cinnamon powder. Again, these all add flavor. And again, we're going to add a bit of granulated sugar. That should be enough. Don't want it to be too sweet. I'm going to add a little bit of baking powder just to soften them a bit. I like dumplings, but I don't like them to be too hard. So I'm just adding a little bit of baking powder just to give a little softness to them. And of course, we're going to add some water now to mix these up together. So again, add a small amount of water. Again, you can always add, but you can't really take out. So we're gonna add some more water. Mix these all up. And of course you could use, when I get closer, when it gets a little bit softer, I'm gonna use my fingers. So just adding enough water at a time until I get what I'm looking for. Let's just add a bit more. Good. Kind of get in there. So I'm going to abandon the spoon right now. And I'm just going to use my hands. Oh, this is lovely. And just mix this all up. Now it's just a little bit soft, so I'm going to add a bit more of the flour to it. And mix this all in. I'm going to add a bit more flour again. So a bit more of this whole wheat flour I'm adding. And we're going to just mix this all in here into our dish. We're not going to need any more water. I think we have enough water. So let's just mix this all in. Great. So this is great. So we got our dumplings here. I'm going to add just a little bit more flour and get this all mixed in. So as you can see, what I was saying, you can always add, but you can't take out. So I was adding water gradually at first, but it seemed as if I added a little too much water for what I was expecting or wanting. And that's why I had to compensate then with a bit more flour. Okay, just going to mix this all up. Good, so this is beautiful. This is nice. This is great right here. So I'm going to allow this to rest. And we're going to just wash my hands and then we're going to check on our soup. Let's just wash off our hands quickly. And we're going to check on our soup now. Okay, soup is still waiting to come to a boil, and once it comes to a boil, we'll check it, and then we're going to get ready to add our dumplings. We're going to add our cilantro, and we will be finished with our soup and ready to eat this wonderful callaloo soup. So let's check our soup. It's smelling so phenomenal. Wow. The It's looking so good, so I'm just gonna lightly move it so it's nice and rustic as I want it to be. Oh, it's beautiful. So we're allowing this here to nicely simmer, and all that liquid has broken down, so there's no more need to add any more liquid to this soup. It's perfect as it is. Just gonna raise the heat a bit. I just want to taste it just to see if it needs any more seasoning. But it's lovely. I can taste it needs a bit of no pepper, but it needs a bit of salt. So we can add a little salt in here. And then we're going to taste this soup again. Just mix this up again. But it smells absolutely amazing. Let's just taste again. Just want some of that liquid. That's lovely. I think I probably could add just a little bit more coconut milk in here, so I'm going to add it. Just a little bit more, not a lot. So at this stage now we're just adjusting the flavors. Good, I added a little coconut milk. And let's just now stir this. You probably can take all of it actually. No, why not? So we go all in here with all the coconut milk. Why not? Well, it's beautiful. Just stir this all up. It's nice and rustic the way I like it to be. I'm gonna get a fresh spoon again. And let's just taste this again now. Now I added that coconut milk, I have to readjust the seasonings. That's good. Just a little bit. Not much. Taste this again. So give it another stir. And at this stage now we'll go ahead and add the dumplings to it. Let's just taste this now. This callaloo soup is looking great. That's lovely. Just put a tidbit. I let it get things, perfect. So let's give this another stir. But it's all gooey the way I like it to be. I'm running out of spoons now. Let's taste this one. I think that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead now and take our dumplings. Put a little flour in my hands. I'm just going to pull off. We make some small little balls. About this size. We're going to add to our soup now. Just some small balls. And we just add it to our soup. So I'm just pulling this off. Small balls. Add into the soup. I'm just going to add a few. I don't want to overcrowd it. I just want to have like a few little dumplings there in case you want to eat a dumpling. You can have a dumpling with it. And this is, I can't wait actually. And outside is a perfect evening. So what I'm going to do this evening is I'm going to pour the soup when I finish talking to you. And I'm going to turn on the TV and watch something nice with my bowl of soup. And if you want, you can pour yourself a glass of white wine too if you want, which I probably might do that for myself as well. So it's going to be a great evening actually. And it's a perfect evening for this. I'm indoors. Outside is kind of overcast. And I'm going to be sitting down eating this beautiful callaloo soup. So just these small dumplings inside here. And again, the dumplings as well too, because of the flour assisting also thickening the soup as well. So I'm just going to have a look. I think I'll just put a few more. I might have enough dumplings in there, but we can also put a few more inside there. Just a few more. And that would, actually I just use the whole batch. Use everything. And then once we've added the dumplings, I'm going to pop the lid back on and allow this to finish. Oh great. So everything is added. We're going to go ahead now and pop the lid back on. I have it down low, say down very low, and allow this now to slowly cook out. The dumplings will cook out, and I'm getting ready for this soup. I'm gonna go grab my soup bowls, and by the time this is finished, we can be ready to eat this lovely callaloo soup. Well, the soup is smelling amazing. Amazing it smells. Let's just check this soup out. Oh, that's amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. Wow. That is absolutely amazing. That looks great, actually. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and while that's cooling down just a little bit, I'm gonna cut a bit of bread so I can toast it. And this is some whole wheat sourdough bread I made, I think it was on Thursday, and look how beautiful that bread is. That's lovely, isn't it? So I'm going to slice that in half, and then I'm going to toast this. I'll have this with a bit of butter with this, the dumplings. This is a meal made in heaven. So let's just pop this in the toaster. Set this up, I want it a little crispy. I'm going to pull some butter out of the fridge, which I forgot to pull out. I got some butter here, good old rustic butter. And now let's just boil up this here so we can taste this wonderful soup. Now what I do now is save the cilantro for the end. So I'm going to take now the cilantro. If you have culantro, you can use that. And I just kind of tear it with my fingers to bruise it. And that releases all the wonderful flavor in this soup. So just kind of roughly tear it to bruise it. And that's going to release all that wonderful flavor. And you get all of that good stuff inside there. Okay, so now let's just give it a little stir. Again, I love it rustic. This looks so beautiful. Oh, this looks great. I'm going to take now a bit of this. We're going to put it right in here. That looks amazing. Just some more of that. That's our soup right there. Now let's just taste this soup with everything in it. So you can see that soup right there. That looks beautiful. So let's just go ahead and taste this. I can see the garlic in here sliced, the tomato, spinach because we didn't have any callaloo leaves. I also have the dumplings, the coconut milk, okras of course. You can see the onions. So I like my rustic, so I don't blend mine. I like to have mine like this, and of course I can see the saltfish in here as well too. So let's just go ahead and give this a taste. It's nice and warm. That's amazing. Has a little kick of spice because of the Scotch bonnet. That's so good. I'm gonna cut one of these dumplings. Oh wow. Amazing. This soup is good. It's amazing soup. That's lovely. I'm going to hold off for a few minutes just to wait until my bread comes out, and then we're going to try it with the bread, and we're also going to have it together. A nice beautiful combination soup. Also, my callaloo soup is all finished, and the evening is gorgeous. I know there's no sun or anything out, it's overcast, but for me I have the most amazing bowl of soup in front of me. I have some nice toast, and we're just going to go ahead and enjoy the soup. That is lovely. And you can also take your toast as well and dip it in there. Eat the soup. But this is great. Well, that's amazing. Well, my name is John Hazzard, and for me it's all about food. And if you've enjoyed this particular show on how to make the most amazing callaloo soup in the world, just click like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you'll be notified of future videos. Again, thank you so much for watching.